and set sail for the United States of America to preach the true Islam. On his way, of course, we've heard the stories that he actually gained dozens of converts on the ship with so much time to spare. And then the authorities, once he landed, were a little concerned about his intentions and his activities, and so they held him up in a detention center. In the detention center, of course, he also gained dozens, I believe it was over 40 converts to Islam, and they threw him out of the detention center. So that actually expedited his immigration to the United States, alhamdulillah. So, with a background in that, I just wanted to mention that because it's that mentality of finding a way, taking advantage of every opportunity, and in fact, creating opportunities where really none exist. Sometimes we might get bogged down in some of the things we might not have internet connection or be able to text at a certain moment, but some of these early members in the Jamaat who set out to spread the word, and then of course some of those early converts who came into the fold of Islam Ahmadiyyat when there wasn't big beautiful masjids built everywhere and a system of Nizami Jamaat that supported that and supported their growth, and a lot of that was done on their own. We set up that? Okay, so we're still working on that. As far as the award that has been put together, I believe it was started 2 years ago, the Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Award, which was started by my predecessor, and he's also still part of the Department of Naumobayin, is Atif Mian Sab. And we've awarded this award to those converts and members of our Jamaat who not only were early converts themselves and have been an integral part of this Jamaat, but they've stood the test of time, and they have been through a lot of history in the Jamaat, and they've seen a lot unfold, and they have a lot to share with us. And this is why we decided to recognize them from this department, because for new converts, often there is a lot of trials, tribulation, ups and downs, estrangement maybe from family, different cultural barriers, different things that get them off course. And we wanted to recognize those very special no-mobayin who lasted, who basically developed their faith and then became strong, integral members and contributed a great amount to this Jamaat, and is one of the reasons we're sitting here today and spread all the way to the West Coast, where we, not too long ago, didn't really have any members or any centers, and now we sit in one of the biggest centers in the world that we have, mashallah. Okay. 2 minutes? I don't know if I have 2 minutes more worth of material. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start, actually I wanted to recognize one of our respected brothers who could not make it today, who is actually receiving the award, but due to health complications or problems he's having currently, he couldn't make it. He's actually Brother Abdul Rakib Wali, who actually resides in Merced, California at this time. He was born in Chester, Pennsylvania, so back east, April 17th, 1932. He first heard about Ahmadiyyat in 1958 through a non-Ahmadi musician, which we had quite a bit of musicians, as early converts, especially amongst the African-American jazz community, and read Ahmadiyyat, the True Islam, which was written by Khalifatul Masih, or our second Khalifa. It was that book that led him into Ahmadiyyat. He signed bayat in Boston, Massachusetts in 1959. Wali Sahib said that at the time of his bayat he was unemployed and actually to some degree living called himself a street person, and said it was at that point and through Ahmadiyyat it really changed his life, and he decided the importance of education was a priority. He went back to school. He finished high school. He actually didn't have a high school education at that time, and then wound up going to Brandeis University, where he majored in Mediterranean studies. He also learned Arabic there. From there, he got involved in community work, started teaching English as a second language, and wound up becoming a Muslim chaplain. Traveled the world actually teaching. He taught in Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, and spent time also in India and Pakistan. He made his Hajj, his pilgrimage to Mecca, in 1973, and like I said, could not join us. We please request everyone to keep Wali Saab in their prayers for his full recovery, and we acknowledge and honor him. Okay, so this is actually a historic picture of early American converts. I already pretty much introduced this. They basically, like I said, symbolize what Qudam al-Ahmadiyya, our young men's organization, strives for in service and self-sacrifice. Here's some recent recipients: Abid Hanif Saab, Boston; Rashid Ahmed Sahib, Milwaukee; 2008, Yusuf Latif Sahib, speaking of our jazz community links; Bilal Salam Sahib of Philadelphia; Abdur Rahman Sahib of Baltimore, who recently passed. May Allah rest his soul. Bashiruddin Osama Sahib, medical doctor, Cleveland, Ohio; and Amin Allah Ahmed Sahib from Dayton, Ohio. This past year in Milwaukee, the late Munir Hamid, Allah rest his soul, from Philadelphia; Ahmed Saeed Sahib, St. Louis; Mohsen Mahmood Sahib, New York; Munir Ahmed Sahib, St. Louis; and Nuruddin Abdul Latif Sahib, North Carolina. And I know the impact, actually, of a couple of these brothers from St. Louis, specifically Munir Ahmed Sahib, because that's where I signed my bayat. I'm a native of St. Louis. I signed my bayat there, and he, quite frankly, was like a father figure to me at first. Spent many days in the barbershop discussions and letting me steal his books. So from here, today's recipients. We didn't get the pictures in because we have them in person. So first I wanted to introduce respected brother Hamza Zainuddin. He was born in Chester, South Carolina, July 5th, 1937. His parents were sharecroppers at the time, as was common in the South. He moved to Baltimore in his youth, was introduced to Ahmadiyya through a pamphlet, a person living in his apartment building. Brother Zainuddin signed bayat in 1960. Since then has become a dedicated member of the community, example for everyone here. Served the Jamaat in different capacities, was president of Baltimore Jamaat for 8 years, during which he actively promoted tabligh efforts, service through humanity through initiatives such as Food for the Needy. Also served as property secretary for many years and continued that up until 2007. So I wanted to welcome respected brother Hamza Zainuddin, and I wanted to, from here, ask a couple questions of our recipient of this award. First, I wanted to see if the brother could please share his conversion story. What was it that brought him into the Jamaat? A little more than the pamphlet from the person in his apartment complex. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, please. What was it that intrigued you or interested you in this particular community and Islam?
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. First of all, jazakallah for the putting me in the category with some of these considered great brothers. What happened with me, I became a sympathizer to Islam through the preachings of Elijah Muhammad. But I only could sympathize. I could not accept it because of the fact that the things that he was preaching, a lot of the things that he was preaching, I just totally disagreed with. And when I got this pamphlet, and the brother gave me the pamphlet, and the first things on the pamphlet I vividly remember was that there was a question and answer, and the first question was, what is Islam? And the second question was, what is a Muslim? Right? And the answer, a Muslim is one who believes in Islam. The third